UFC 281, Adesanya versus Pereira just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, and my overall event recap as well. Let's start straight away with the early prelim opener of Carlos Ulberg versus Nicolae Negumereanu. This should have got performance of the night bonus for Ulberg. It really should have. Ulberg should be another 50k richer than he already is after such an amazing performance against Nicolae Negumereanu. And I'll make a whole separate video about that. Chandler is set for life. Poirier is set for life. Zhang has made millions. And Alex Pereira has made so much money as well. These guys are struggling at the bottom. Stop giving away bonuses to champions. Ulberg should get 50k. And it annoyed me that he didn't, because it was a phenomenal performance. I picked him to win this fight by decision. But man, this guy's got some heat in his hands. Honestly, when he decides to go, he is genuinely future champion material. I'll say that openly right now. I've got my eyes on Ulberg to be the future champion of the division. 31 years of age, in his prime. I reckon he could get a title shot by the time he's 32, and I don't mind his chances against these top-level light heavyweights. This guy's different. Straight up different. Great win against Tafon and Chukwu. Beat Fabio Sharan. Was winning the whole time against Chukwu, using him as a heavy bag until gassing out and losing there. And just put away Nicolae Negumereanu. Jab as Nicolae came in. Hook afterwards around it on the same hand. It was so perfect and such an amazing performance. One of the best performances of the year, I'd say. I know it's not high profile, but man, what a clean win. He took 2 shots. Moving on, up the card. Julio Arce versus Montel Jackson. I picked Montel Jackson to win against Julio Arce. He did enough to win over the 3 rounds. This was kind of one of the letdown, there was a bunch of great fights on this card. This wasn't one of them. He hurt Julio Arce at one point. No, put him down at one point and just won the fight pretty convincingly by decision. Montel Jackson's very good. I just want to see him stay way more active because he's been out for a very long time and people aren't going to remember him by the time he gets back in there again. So I'd like to see him against some of these top contenders just outside the rankings in the bantamweight division. So not top contenders, but the top contenders of the unranked division at bantamweight. Montel Jackson's one of them. Very good, very composed over 3 rounds. And yeah, solid performance. I picked him by decision and he got it done by decision. Moving on. Up the card, Mike Trizano versus Seung Choi. Seung Choi loses again. This one was a shock to me. Crazy fight. Double knockdown at one moment as well. Absolutely crazy fight. This is a stand-up match between Mike Trizano, some random dropout who started to pick up MMA as a tough guy, and a multiple-time national Muay Thai champion. And he's losing. It's crazy to me. It's crazy. I think he was Muay Thai champion, national Muay Thai champion in South Korea in 2014. And he's losing this. It's absolutely ridiculous to me, but Seung Choi loses again. He just keeps throwing hands. Reckless abandonment, and Mike Trizano kept catching him with hooks as he was coming in. Even put him down with a jab at one point as well. But that double knockdown was crazy. Set the tone for the fight. Both guys landing crazy shots. Seung Choi rocked Trizano at one point as well. But then just as a national Muay Thai champion and gold medalist, charged forward, swinging like Brunson. So that was interesting as well. But great job by Mike Trizano, though. Great fight. This one should have got fight of the night rather than the millionaires Poirier and Chandler. What more do you want? What more do you want? Outside of round 1, Poirier Chandler got stale. I'll say it. Trizano, Seung Choi should have got 50k each. Moving on. Up the card, Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Silvana Gomez Juarez. Oh, I completely forgot about this. I had it for Karolina Kowalkiewicz. But do I need to make a whole separate video about that weirdness that went on and we need to get to the bottom of that? We need answers about that. I'm going to watch Dana White's interview. If that is not brought up and that is not figured out and we get a clear, concise reason as to why that happened with the judges' scorecards, they literally scribbled out results and changed them. So unless there was like a literal mistake of a guy who gave it to someone that he didn't think won and was supposed to give it to the other person, that is the most unprofessional thing I've ever seen. The New York Commission never fails to surprise me. That was genuinely the most unprofessional judging moment I've seen in the history of the UFC. That is crazy to me. And the fighters just have to watch that while their career's on the line. You know what I mean? And watch, they're scribbling out results. Like, what is going on? Figure that stuff out before you get in the cage and show it on camera. Like, that camera guy who got a close-up of that happening is getting fired. 100% he is. That is crazy to me. I actually gave the fight to Karolina Kowalkiewicz very clearly. She won the first round clear. I thought she did maybe less damage, but landed way more in the second. And also got a takedown there, I believe. So I gave her the second round. It was close, but I gave her the second round pretty clearly. And round 3, I gave to Silvana Gomez Juarez, landing more and better damaging shots. But come on. We got to figure out the judging situation. You can't be scribbling out results in front of fighters and changing them. Like, what is going on? That is an absolute mess and might need a whole other video. But I got the prediction wrong, whatever. Good job by Karolina Kowalkiewicz. We move on to another fight up the card, which was Matt Frevola versus Ottman Azaitar. Matt Frevola gets it done, man. I picked Ottman Azaitar to win and catch him, but Ottman's not that good. Am I wrong? He's not that good. He looked open, like, really sloppy. Really overthrowing his shots quite a bit as well, leaving himself open to counters, and Matt Frevola eventually found the read. Both guys got hit with some decent shots early on, but Matt Frevola found it. Ottman Azaitar threw over himself, almost fell over, and Matt Frevola got the single collar, landed a couple of punches, landed a tight right hook, and as Ottman Azaitar tried to counter, he came over the top with that left hand as well, right on the chin of Ottman Azaitar, and put him out cold. Phenomenal performance by Matt Frevola. These should be getting the 50k. They're poor. They don't have money. Ottman Azaitar, though. Great loss. No, Matt Frevola, great win. Good post-fight call-out as well. I don't think he'll get Paddy Pimblett. I just don't. I think Paddy Pimblett is going to win against Jared Gordon and then call out like a Tony Ferguson. And they might even just give it to him, in all honesty. Like, he's going to get like a really good matchup. Close to the rankings. Ranked, maybe. Who knows? They're not giving him Matt Frevola. But I like that he called him out and made all the headlines and got a post on the Instagram. So good for him in his own career. Matt Frevola, very dangerous guy. Very good performance from him by first round KO. Moving on, Andre Petroski versus Wellington Turman. I rate Andre Petroski's performance. Sure, they looked sloppy. Sure, they gassed out. They got tired. It wasn't the most exciting fight. I understand. But he looked gassed and he kept pushing. This is like a Dricus Duplessis against Brad Tavares performance. Did he look great? Did he look amazing? Did he look slick? No, he looked gassed, but you've got to commend pushing through that moment where it looks like you're completely done. He grinded through every tough moment Wellington Turman gave him, and he came out on top in rounds 2 and 3. And they even gave him round 1, which was surprising. I actually thought Wellington Turman did a bit more damage in round 1, but still. He got it done, almost had an arm in guillotine at one point, but Wellington Turman toughed it out. Both guys looked majorly improved, I'll be honest. Glover has definitely made improvements with Wellington, but Andre Petroski's been improving rapidly because he's so new to MMA. Who would have thought it? This guy might have maybe one of the most impressive careers with Brian Battle after the Ultimate Fighter and Trayshawn Gore's like 1 and 2 in the UFC. So Andre Petroski surprising people over and over again. I picked him to win this time, but still a surprisingly great performance. Pushed the pace in the later rounds and got it done. Amazing work from him. Good cardio. Not the most exciting fight, though. We move on. Erin Blanchfield versus Molly McCann. I picked Erin Blanchfield to win by decision, 30-26, 30-25, winning some 10-8 rounds. I said she'd get the crucifix, and that's how she'd get some 10-8s. I didn't think Molly McCann would have no idea how to get out of it whatsoever. So she literally just took the crucifix beating for a very long time in round 1. That was on its way to being like a 10-7, in all honesty. Like, it was non-stop. Both girls landed a couple of shots early. McCann landed a couple of shots early. I'll check the stats. Well, she landed 7, but she landed some decent punches. But then Erin Blanchfield landed more. And then we talk about the crucifix position. That takedown was perfect, and McCann had no defense for it at all. No guard game on bottom. No jiu-jitsu awareness. Just got immediately passed over by Erin Blanchfield, and I think that's going to happen every single time she fights a grappler. I really do. I think that's going to happen every single time. So we'll see how things go for her moving forward. If you give her strikers, she'll have fun fights where she can get the knockout, but give her grapplers, massive problem. Erin Blanchfield, very good job from her. Very good performance. Got booed in America, which is crazy. Like, support your own, you know. This is probably not bringing out flags. If she had a flag with her, it might have got more cheers. Erin Blanchfield gets it done, though. Very entertaining performance and very dominant and very hot. Let's be real. And also very promising as a prospect in that division, especially as a grappler. We need grapplers at flyweight because it's the only weakness Shevchenko has shown. Good job by Erin Blanchfield. Moving on. Up the card, Dominic Reyes versus Ryan Spann. I picked Ryan Spann to win by first round KO, and unfortunately, he did just that. sparked out Dominic Reyes in round 1. I'm telling you, man. When I read the medical report after Dominic Reyes versus Yuri Prohaska, I thought this guy might never fight again. I genuinely thought that in my head, and I said he won't come back. He ain't coming back. Dominic Reyes is done. He came back against Ryan Spann, the worst guy to possibly come back against. Massive guy, big power. He says he's only just started training, but that's just not true. Like, he's been training his whole career. I've seen so many videos. Like, it's just stupid when people say that. It's actually disrespectful to the guy you beat. I hate it when people do that. But still, Ryan Spann, great performance, great KO. He landed a jab as Reyes stepped into it, and it was like he put his weight into it though, so it wasn't just a like flicking jab. It was like a jab hookish type of punch, like a Choi jab, if you know what I'm saying, where he tucks it in. So it was a good shot, and then he sort of clipped Reyes behind the ear as well as he went down, and that just solidified that he was going to be out cold. But also landed good shots early. And Reyes, man, when a guy's crashing towards you, stop with the body kicks, dude. Body kicks are like when you've got respect from an opponent and you've got them backing up and you can start getting a bit creative. Stop throwing body kicks in the immediate start of round 1 against Ryan Spann, who's charging towards you, trying to take your head off. You're just putting yourself on one leg. It was crazy to me. But yeah, when I saw the medical report after the Yuri fight, broken orbital, brow ridge shattered, jawbone broken, teeth something. There's like a mandible or something like that he got broken as well. Like, there was so much that was wrong with him. I was like, this guy ain't never winning again. So Ryan Spann gets it done. Maybe he could beat like a Paul Craig with his takedown defense. I still think he'd have a decent chance against like a Glover Teixeira, but not against these power punchers. They'll put him out. Moving on. Up the card, Brad Riddell versus Renato Moicano. Big money! Dude, Renato Moicano might be my new favorite personality in the UFC. Something about Brazilians barely understanding English and barely being able to speak it makes them so funny, dude. Renato Moicano, best octagon speech maybe of all time. Okay? Only rivaled by his one before that he had, which was very, very entertaining. And, yeah, Renato Moicano. Dangerous, dangerous man in this division. Let's not forget, again, top 5 at featherweight. Featherweight, you could argue, striking-wise at least, is a tougher division than lightweight. Sure, the lightweights have got the power, but technique-wise, the featherweights are better technical. They're more technical than the lightweights. You know what I mean? But the lightweights have just got the strength and they got the power, and it's different when featherweights try and move up. Maybe lightweights got better grapplers, though. I'll give him that. But when it comes to striking, featherweight's underrated. You don't get top 5 and not be good. Renato Moicano's proven that time and time again in this lightweight division. And other than stepping in on 4 days' notice after drinking beer and eating steaks in Brazil, on his couch, as he said, against RDA, he's had a great run at lightweight, other than Fiziev, I guess. Early stoppage, though. But either way, Renato Moicano, big money Moicano, didn't get a bonus. Like, it's just give these guys the money. Like, that's what I'm thinking to myself. And also, Brad Riddell, defend the choke. Like, he just isn't an MMA fighter. He's a striker whose striking technique and style is like he's got 2-foot limbs, which actually might not be very long now I'm thinking about it. But he's like he's got an 80-inch reach, essentially. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking the wingspan is like just shy of how tall, or it's actually a little bit longer than how tall you are, right? I think mine's like a 4+4 ape index or something. So, yeah, never mind. Not 2 foot. But either way, 80-inch reach. He's like he's got an 80-inch reach, but he's a short, stocky guy for the division. You can't play that game. And Renato Moicano beat him up and finished him in the first round with a rear naked choke. I picked him too. He did. And, yeah, look. Pereira's making bank. He's already made championship bank at kickboxing as well, which is decent money at Glory especially. Zhang's had $1 million paychecks. Poirier's a millionaire and set for life. Chandler's a millionaire and set for life. Why are you giving them 50k? Zhang was a massive favourite. She was supposed to do that to Esparza. Why did you give her 50k? You know what I would have done? I would have said, you know what? Hooker gets paid a lot of money. Claudio looked like trash, and I'll get to that in a second. I would have said, you know what? We got 3 50k bonuses here. We got 2 50k bonuses and a fight of the night. I would have gone, you know what? Fight of the night, Trizano versus Seung Choi. 25k Carlos Ulberg. 25k Matt Frevola. 25k Ryan Spann. Oh, he missed weight. Forget him. 25k Renato Moicano. None for Aaron Blanchfield. It was too easy. And it should have been. That was the odds. And then give 25k to Chris Gutierrez as well. Pathetic from the UFC. Moving on to the main card. Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles. I picked Dan Hooker to win by TKO in the second round, and he won by TKO in the second round. I don't know who picked Puelles. I've watched this guy fight so much. He's garbage at fighting. And I said it in my prediction video. I literally said, Hooker's going to TKO this guy. This is light work for Hooker. Style-wise, this is amazing for Dan Hooker. He's got decent takedown defense when it's not Islam Makhachev. He knows how to stay out of trouble on the ground as well with his jiu-jitsu. He's been in leg locks before, like against Ally Quinter in UFC Australia card a long time ago. He knows how to stay out of danger against these opponents. You know what I mean? And yet people were picking Puelles. Off of what? He got a sub? This is the Ryan Hall thing, but worse. Ryan Hall at least has the credentials. Puelles is just a young guy who happened to catch a couple knee bars in a row. And people fall in love with the fact that he's done something over and over again. That don't tell me that he's so good for doing something over and over again. That tells me that's all he's got. 4 knee bars in a row. People say, oh my God, he's that good, he can just pick what he wants. I see 4 knee bars in a row, or however many knee bars he has, spread out throughout his career as finishes, and I think that's all he has. And Dan Hooker knows that and can drill a whole training camp around that. Puelles had nothing on the feet, and I said that, and Puelles had nothing on the feet, and Dan Hooker finished him in the second round with a front kick to the body. But I do want to mention this. Come on, Puelles. Like, the Imanari rolls I can take. But dude was literally like just flopping to his back at some points. And just like trying like a disabled Sanchai kick at some point. Like to try and... It was actually pathetic from him. Like, I'm not one to normally say that once I've cleared my mind about a fighter. In the moment, I might. But that was genuinely a pathetic looking performance. And he must have lost so many fans. Moving on, up the card. Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. I thought Frankie Edgar was going to out-grapple him for 3 straight rounds. Because he did it to Marlon Vera. Until the very end, of course. But I'll be honest, as I was watching, and there's a live reaction out there to this, I was watching it and I was thinking, he ain't moving right. He ain't moving like a normal Frankie Edgar. He's going to get KO'd. And I literally said, I can feel it coming any moment. A brutal first round KO against Frankie Edgar. Boom. Knee straight to the mush. Chris Gutierrez puts him out. And Gutierrez upped his game. Upped his game for the level of competition. Sometimes it's hard to tell that because sometimes, you know, you think, oh, he went to a close decision with that guy. What makes you think he'll beat this guy? But then you find out eventually, like with certain fighters, it's like Leon Edwards, it's like, oh, he does that to everyone. He close decisions everyone. But this time it was just a massive knee to the face. So how bad is Marlon Vera? We'll never know. Moving on. Chris Gutierrez, though. Great performance. Amazing win. And, yeah, just found the knee. Right on target. Right on the mush of Edgar. Saddest retirement ever, I think. That is definitely up there. That was terrible. He didn't even get, like, a big cheer from the crowd. It was just all like, oh. Everyone was sort of feeling bad for him. Tough. Very tough way to go. Moving on. Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. I picked Dustin Poirier to win by late first round TKO after getting hurt by Chandler early on. He nearly got it done that way. Very close to seeing that happen. He got hurt early on. Chandler. If I could find a way, because I'm a genius. I have genius IQ. Just to let you know. If I could find a way, I could spare 10 IQ points and still be considered a genius. If I could find a way to transfer 10 of those IQ points into Michael Chandler, he might just be maybe the best lightweight on earth. But the dude just cannot help himself but get scrappy. And he messed it up for himself. He really did. He was cheating in certain moments with the fish hook and even like back of the head shots that people aren't talking enough about. He landed a bunch of shots to the back of Poirier's head. But I said this before. Poirier's chin is one of the best in the sport. Just because McGregor caught him behind the ear and put him out. Whatever. In the lightweight division, only Michael Johnson can beat Dustin Poirier. Only Michael Johnson can get it done. Okay? Other than that, Dustin Poirier is genuinely one of the best in the world. One of the best in the world. One of the best chins in the world. He takes massive shots, takes them well. He got rocked a bunch of times, but he stayed calm. Chandler did not wait for his shots. He just started swinging crazily against the cage. And Poirier was using his high guard and blocking them and moving. And eventually, Found his big shot at the end of round 1. Nearly finished Michael Chandler standing. Credit to Michael Chandler for recovering and dominating the second round. With however many cheaty movements that he did. He dominated the second round anyway with grappling. But round 3, he picked up Poirier. Why did you have to pick him up? Stop picking him up. Just put him down. Place yourself on top of him. Picks him up. Big slam. And it ends up in a big scramble where he ends up on bottom. Like, really silly stuff from Chandler there. Threw it away for himself. And then Poirier's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I know people have been criticizing his jiu-jitsu, but he's a black belt. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you get choked out by Oliveira. You know what I mean? Like, you're still a black belt. You know what to do. And you know how to capitalize on those positions. He's been training jiu-jitsu for like 2 decades. Great win by Dustin Poirier. Great fight. Give the fight of the night bonus to some people who actually need it that aren't already millionaires and set for life. Just my take. Moving on. Carla Esparza versus Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili gets it done. Not in the way I thought she would. I thought she would get this one done by first round TKO. Knees to the body, elbows to the face. The same way she did to Jessica Andrade. But she got this one done in grappling fashion. Getting like a inverted crucifix rear naked choke, I believe it was. She was on the bottom, crucifix position. Reverse crucifix, basically. Even though I don't even think that's the official term for it. But basically a reverse crucifix, if you can imagine that. And she ended up lashing up the neck of Esparza, tying up the arm of Esparza with her legs, and then eventually getting wrist control free from Carla Esparza and latching up that rear naked choke and putting her out. So Carla Esparza tapped, and Zhang Weili's the champion at strawweight. Finally, a legit champion who deserves to be champion is now champion. But respect to Carla Esparza, you know, she didn't deserve the hatred that she got. It was a boring fight that she had, but come on, man. It's a little lady. Do we need to boo her on her way out and boo her the whole time? Like, she looked like she was going to cry on the walkout. Like, it's just sad. Her big moment, time to defend in America, and she gets booed and they're all cheering the Chinese fighter. I get it. I like that they cheered Zhang Weili. It shows progress in the world. You know what I'm saying? That they're cheering someone who's not American and seeing past that and stuff. But it's just sad for Esparza. Let's just let bygones be bygones and just hopefully she wins her next fight and we can have a little hip hip hooray for her. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Carla Esparza looked like she was shitting herself, I'll be honest. On the walkout, she was so timid. Like, she looked slow. Like, she was in a state of shock. I actually believed that she was in a state of shock. When she got to the point where they start taking off the jacket and start getting into their fight gear, cage side, she was, like, delayed for a second, frozen there. Like Elsa. No, I'm joking. That was Izzy in a second. But yeah, she was frozen, delayed there. And then, even at one point when they were in the cage, and they both had to go to the center, she was, like, 2 seconds late, because she was just standing there, like, oh, God. You know what I mean? Like, she knew she was done. And she had moments where she ended up on top, but Zhang Weili's too athletic, showed great scrambles, and I think she beats Rose Namajunas in the trilogy. Great job, Zhang Weili. We move on. Up the card, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. I picked Alex Pereira by KO. I said he would get it done in the 2nd or 3rd. He got it done in the 5th, which was very impressive from him. Extremely impressive. Perfectly fine stoppage. I've rewatched it a few times now since my initial reaction video. I'm telling you this, he was not bobbing and weaving, dude. He was shutting down. I really believe that now. The more I've watched it back, he was not bobbing and weaving. He was genuinely, that was the only thing he could maybe look like he was doing. You know? He was genuinely shutting down in front of thing. He was like dipping slowly to the canvas, almost, pretty much. And one more glancing blow from Pereira, I'm not joking, one more glancing blow, Israel Adesanya's face first on the canvas out cold. And it annoys me, yeah, that so-called fans of Israel Adesanya should have let him get put out cold. Trust me, I'm angry that Mark Goddard robbed us of seeing Israel Adesanya out cold snoozing on the canvas. I want it to happen. I'm not a fan of Israel Adesanya. The fans of him that wanted that to happen. Shame on you as a fan of him. And even he would think that. He would think, man, my fans are like, let him go out? Like, no, please. Because he'll look at that back and he'll realize, one more shot, I'm done there. He knows how the game works. And that was a stoppage that's good because we know there's a rematch. You know what I'm saying? If that happens in the first 2 rounds and they do that and they stop it there, kind of unfair because then it's a bit weird. But the fact that he was winning and that we know there's going to be a rematch anyway, and you know then Pereira does that, it's like, okay, at least he's going to be in good enough condition to still make a compelling rematch and make it in a reasonable time period. If he gets flatlined out cold, the UFC might not want to wait 7 months. This is better for Adesanya to wait. 6 months, go to Africa in June, and do an event there, rematch for Israel Adesanya. And it makes it more compelling. But first round, Alex Pereira was winning the round, in my opinion, very clearly. And he was winning the leg kick battle, which is very... I said he would do it, and he did it. And that's a massive difference that most people can't do. And I believe that's why we saw Israel Adesanya pause against the cage so much, because his movement was being limited by Alex Pereira kicking at his legs and hurting his body with kicks and body punches. No one's been able to do that to Israel Adesanya. They've all maybe like out-jabbed him or landed a couple punches on the head. No one's leg kicked him and broke him down. And that slowly delayed the movement and slowed down the movement of Adesanya enough to where Pereira won round 2. He started good in round 3 and it made Israel Adesanya wrestle for the entire round and become Dagestani. And then round 4, Israel Adesanya started strong. Pereira was fearing the takedown. And then he actually did well towards the end of round 4. And I believe hurt Israel Adesanya with a knee to the body, which made him shoot again and not get the takedown. And in round 5, Pereira started good again, schooling him, outstriking him, winning it at range, and eventually finding the shots that he needed to put him away. Very solid work from Alex Pereira. Solid win. And there's only advantages for him in the rematch, which I'm going to make a whole separate video about. But great win. Safe stoppage. Sure, I would have loved to have seen Israel Adesanya twitching, seizing up on the canvas and laughed about it. But in hindsight, for his health, this is better for him. And for a rematch, it makes it more compelling that he's still going to be healthy enough to still, like... We're not going to talk about maybe he's lost his chin. You know what I mean? Like, we're still going to be like, he's got a good chin, but can he avoid Pereira's power again? You know what I mean? For longer this time, I guess. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. In terms of predictions, I did really well. And I didn't make a last-minute detailed predictions. I should have done. Because I would have done really well. But I picked Ulberg to win. He won. 1-0. Jackson to win. 2-0. Trizano, I picked to lose. 2-1. I messed up the next one, 2-2. I picked Frevola to lose. He won 2-3, and then we turned it all around. Got Petroski, got Erin Blanchfield, got Ryan Spann as an underdog. Weirdly, got Renato Moicano, who I believe was evens or an underdog. Got Dan Hooker. Don't know why no one else picked him in the expert field. Lost on Edgar, but got Poirier, got Zhang, easy pick of course, and got Pereira as an underdog, which is good. So. Yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. I think I went like 10-4, something like that. See ya.